All right, we are here with Kobe Short. What's your name? What's your name? What'd you do?
Kobe Short, hello, you know me. I lost in top 32, so the guy behind the camera. Top 64, my bad, I gotta win him at. I got second after Swiss at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championships 2022 with a deck with Mezuki in it. That was kind of cool. Just get into it. Do shout outs at the end. So there's a Fat Punk engine. The deck is 60 cards, so if you play 40, you can cut these, right? Because space. But this deck has a problem of staying like above 50. It's really hard to get it below that. So I was like, I kind of want more extenders. And this is like 2 monsters normally because it summons this. And I wanted another normal summon. And if I like Chaos Ruler mill this guy, and I only play 1, I want Italy to still be able to get this card. These cards are really good. This card's a god card.
These cards are broken?
Yeah, like, obviously this one's better, but this card in this deck is just as good as this at times.
Yeah, because you play the other level 2 tuner and then the level 5 gets you to ruler still, right?
Yeah. All you gotta do is get to ruler and your deck does whatever you want it to. Fateful, Engine, and God card. This is probably the best card in the deck. It gets you to whichever engine you need at the time. If Zombie World's up, you can like Foolish a Xiamen and Mezuki Xiamen back and gets you to this engine.
That's so
too.
gross.
Yeah. These cards like overperformed, and with how the deck likes to level modulate, sometimes you don't really search Griffin Rider, you search like Water Enchantress. It plays in a nib a little bit, but like, they have to, you can mitigate nib with like Chaos Ruler, Plague Spreader and stuff. Like, you can still end on a bunch of stuff. Like, there was a game where I got nib ashed during the turn, and I still ended on how Dagda, Baron, Ching Ying through both of those and then put them on no cards. It was pretty good.
Yeah, this deck is all gas, no breaks.
Yeah. Oh, there's bricks. There's no breaks.
Yeah, but no breaks.
These cards are terrible, but this card is probably the best tuner in the game. You want this deck to play as close to the Brave Adventure deck as possible because that deck does the most unfair things. And you want the zombie cards to be your backbone of the deck, like your grind game. But like, when you don't open both of these engines, you can use the zombie engine to supplement these, and that's when these cards don't really shine that much. Because then you're using the zombie engine and you're using like right cards to get away from it and stuff. But these cards are really good. I definitely would not cut them. Best normal summon in the deck. This was Carbonetton and Galaxy Serpent, but this being like a dark monster kind of came up, and sometimes like you'll grab this off of like Zombie Vampire and you'll see what they're playing, and then whenever you link this away, this can just search whichever hand trap is like good against that deck. Like sometimes you'll search Ogre against the Sword Soul deck because you already have Valor, and like, how is that deck ever playing through an Ogre Valor? Yeah, this card's terrible, but you have to play it. And these were like the last cards put in my deck, that and this. I don't like this card very much. I think this deck, you could just play extenders and it just plays through everything. This card not being able to negate Nibiru kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like, Nibiru's the only thing I care about. Every other hand trap, it just doesn't matter. Like, sometimes they'll like Valor my Hulk, and I'm like, yeah, sure, dude, I'll just set this instead of activating it. This is really hard to resolve in this deck, but you still do 6 because we're not bitches.
That's right.
You just have to really think about it. Like, if you mess up with this card, you're probably just losing the game on the spot. The worst tuner in the deck, this card's god-awful, but you kind of have to play it because a lot of people were playing hand traps this weekend. Like, I'm not the only one playing all of these cards, so being able to help get to this, pitch a card, and make Dagda like low investment is nice. Like, you can if your hand's like crazy, right? But you know their deck isn't playing like Droplet or something, like it's post side, you can help get to this guy and make your Dagda, and then attempt to leave main phase. And if they nib you there, cool, you still end on everything. But if they don't nib you there, your Dagda is scything them, and like game's just over. It was pretty neat. Deshudo, God card. Snow, you have to play this. It is a brick, but you do have to play it. Ban it.
Yeah, fuck Scythe.
Fuck this card.
Also, they should just reban the Snow. This card's insane.
Snow should also be banned. Like most of this deck plays the most cards that probably should just be banned.
Yeah.
3 of this, and this. Okay.
This card's fucking broken.
This is a ridiculous card. It just has one of the worst levels in the game. If it was any other level, this would probably be a 3-of. This card is cracked. Like you could play 2, but you really want to open this card. Like pitching this off a right, this card acts like Called by the Grave. Like, it lets you play through so much stuff. You play 2 different level tuners because you want Immortal Dragon to be able to level modulate between level 2, 3, and 4, because that's going to access you to whatever. And there's some lines where you'll summon this off a Hulk, and then have this engrave, link this away or synchro it away, then bring it back. And this guy sends this, synchro with the Vitcher token, make Chaos Ruler mill 5, hit whatever, doesn't matter. Then Baron pop your Chaos Ruler if you don't want to link it off. And then Chaos Ruler banish this. And this gets to Mezuki again, and it brings your whole combo back. It lets you end on like 2 level 10s and the How Dagda play. This was really good against Flunder.
Yeah, FTK.
Yeah, it's an FTK. Like you can end on anti-spell Zombie World and they just can't out it. I played 20 hand traps and a driver. These cards were very good. Reason there's no Droplet anywhere in the deck is because you can't draw Droplet with a hand trap and have the same effect as 2 hand traps. If you draw Droplet plus a hand trap, your 1 hand trap is never enough. They'll still end on everything through it. And the Droplet is just going to get negated by like Herald of Arclight. So there's no reason for it being there. If Droplet was any of these cards, to go with any of these cards, you're probably just winning the game. Like 2 of the... Not much is comboing through this. God card, like, you should be fine. It's 20 hand traps, so you should draw 1 hand trap statistically every game, 2 hand traps every other game.
And the deck has more than enough gas to play if you just do 1 hand trap. Yeah.
As long as their board is manageable, you're fine. And we got tokens to build. Extra deck, Zombie Vampire. You go this route every time you can, especially game 1. Whenever they see your zombie cards, they kind of like don't know what they do, so they ask to read them. So when you summon this guy and use this effect, it does incentivize them to concede if you don't know what they're playing, and it saves time. This deck really struggles going to time. So you have to play really fast, and if they're reading cards, Yu-Gi-Oh players can't read, so yeah, it's going to take a while. Wonder Magician, because you have to play it. If this deck played more extenders, you don't have to play this card, because you just Baron pop this. You Baron pop your Scythe on your turn, and this deck can Scythe in the standby phase very easily to play around Dark Ruler. But just the low investment on the Wonder Magician kind of came up a lot. And also, this card pop map a lot.
That's pretty good.
Immortal Dragon, this is probably the best synchro.
It's Rise Dragon for zombies.
Yeah, it's a generic tuner synchro, so you can summon this off of Hulk if you really need to. But it foolishes any zombie that's not level 6 and changes its level to the difference. So if you send a level 4, it becomes level 2, and you make Baron with it. And it's a zombie, so you can bring it back with Mezuki. Tuner, level 6, like it does a lot for the deck. Also, when summons destroyed by battle, like you can crash a Plague Spreader into something and summon this guy back from the grave, use his effect again on the next turn. still get to everything. Riser, I think this card was a typo on the ban list. It should probably just be banned.
Yep.
Hands down the best card in the deck. If this card resolves, you win the game. This deck capitalizes on this card the most. Every mill is just crazy. Chinging, this is the second level 10 of choice. He's just so hard to out. And you set up both Snow and Banshee in your combo. So with this, you can... The problem with Snow with this guy is like a lot of times where you're forced to Snow, you also really want to use him in the same spot. So you're using the Snow, booking a card, and also just banishing the card, so it's redundant. Whereas with this, you can banish this, get Zombie World at any point during the turn, and trigger this guy and save your Snow. Also, if this guy were to get destroyed, you can banish a card, so you can banish Changshi from grave to summon itself back. And then,
There's just so much bullshit in this deck.
There's a lot going on at all times. Baron, I thought about playing 2 of this, I'm not gonna lie. This card comes up a lot. And Punisher, I wanted a game shot for synchros. This engine, I wasn't playing this, I was playing Appaloosa and like 2 more synchros, but when I was doing that, this deck was getting like hard shafted by D-Barrier, and I wanted game shots through D-Barrier, because that can just put up big idiots and then do this. Really cool play. I was playing against like a mirror, and he had Magician Souls engraved, so I made this guy and took his Magician Souls and then activated Zombie World so I could like play my deck. And then at the end of the combo, when I put up Baron and like another negate, I Magician Souls sacked away the Zombie World on my board, drew a card, and then made Celine and then Axis Code and killed him. Otherwise, it didn't have lethal. It was really cool. These cards, this should probably just be banned. Yep. I would prefer this card stay in the game though. If you have to ban something, just ban the cards around it. This card's really fun. If I cut Jet, this card gets cut. This gets banished off Prosperity a lot. They're cool though. This did not take anything over the weekend. Could have been Blink Karibo. Side deck, 7 more hand traps. These cover the matchups that your main deck hand traps don't, and this is searchable, so go for it. This is for Despia, this is for Plunder. Unless you take out Nib versus those decks, because you don't want Nib against any of them. These were really good, and grabbing this was really nice. This also forces Chinging at times, so you can like banish something, banish 2 cards. I had the VIP for this tournament, so I had 2 buys at the start of the tournament, and I felt that the format was way too diverse to just try and beat everything. So starting the tournament 2-0, I figured most trap decks would be in X1 bracket by round 3 because they're trap cards, they suck. So I completely decided to toss that matchup. If I played against a trap deck, I was losing the match.
That's wild.
So I played these cards, only back row removal in the deck. In general though, this deck sides 9 cards for traps. That matchup is hard. This is for mine, and I side this against every single deck in the game going second. You have to have this card. And because I sided only these cards for back row, it freed up 5 slots in my extra deck.
Yeah, the God card for the format.
Yeah. This could have been something else. It could have been a different card entirely, but it was really good siding 5 cards for going first instead of just 3. Because with Prosperity, you'll have 8, because you'll do your whole combo, Prosperity at the end.
Go for 6, yep.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about playing Magic Deflector?
I thought about playing Magic Deflector, yeah, because it's just, it can't be outed, but the thing was, with Anti-Spell, in matchups like Flunder and stuff, and you'll just dig for Anti-Spell, you can also get to Banshee, and then during the draw phase, you'll flip Anti-Spell. They have to Cosmic this if they want to activate Cosmic. If not, standby phase, you'll activate this, get your Zombie World. That way they can't MST a Cosmic Twin Twister at all. And it skips their turn. All you need is 1 turn to play, and you're fine. Whereas Magic Fletcher wouldn't have had that same application. You would have had chain in. It lets them chain 2 cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was neat. Yeah, that's the deck. Shout outs. Shout out to my team, Pandemonium Gaming. Shout out to everyone that came with me. Josh, Travis, Higgins, Joe, Khalil, Chuck, Blake. Shout out to everyone that attempted to talk to me about this deck. I've been trying to play this for like 2 months, and not a single soul. I could not convince a single person on the planet to play it with me for this weekend. I was the only one. So with that being said, shout out to every single person that gave up on it, specifically Dominic Couch, Avery Foster, Cody Angeloff. He's probably the biggest hater because he decided to help me with the deck like Friday. It was like, hey, you should do this, and still decided to sleeve up Sword Soul.
Jesus.
And he didn't top, so that really sucks to be him.
I don't think any of those people topped, did they?
No, none of them.
That's
actually.
crazy.
They were all
Isn't
dead.
that wild?
2 of them were on Flunder. That's fucking crazy. So yeah, and shout out to Darian for clapping me up in top 64. You know.
Facts.
Yeah, please don't read it. There's way too many Nibiru's in it. Yeah, that's it.